County paper.
The next item is approval of the agenda for the meeting. We have 6 items on our agenda. Changes before proceeding. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Have no awards or presentations. This is the time for public comments. However, everyone has chosen to sign up to speak regarding County Road 96, so we'll have those comments during that discussion period. We have no old business, so we'll move on to new business. And the first item is the public hearing for County Road 96. It is my understanding today that another public hearing will need to be held on this particular matter due to some processes that were not carried correctly. We will proceed tonight with this public hearing. Go ahead and hear all the information that has to be presented to us tonight, and then we will set up a second one 4 to 5 weeks from tonight so that we can finalize this and move forward with this or have a final vote however we need to proceed. So, later together.
Make a motion, approve together.
Okay, have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. We'll continue on now with our business. As I stated, the next item is representatives to the Healthcare Authority Board. We have had 6 individuals that have submitted their request to sit on this board. There are 3 appointments, requests to serve. This is a 6-year term. Those officers will take place immediately and serve until 2019. So, to proceed, we'll entertain, at this time, open the floor for any nominations to serve in any of these 3 positions. So do we have any nominations for these positions?
I'd like to nominate Jim Bergman. He turned in a letter and expressed interest in being reappointed. He only served a partial term.
Okay. We have a nomination for Mr. Bergman. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Bob Matthews, who only served a partial term also.
Okay. Have Mr. Matthews. Any other nominations?
Alan O'Connor.
Nomination for Ms. O'Connor. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Harold Brookshire.
Okay. A nomination for Mr. Brookshire. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, if we have none, we'll close the nomination process and we'll do these alphabetically. We will vote on each individual, and those first 3 to receive those votes will be the ones to serve. So we will begin with Mr. Bergman. Do we have a motion to approve Mr. Bergman? Actually, if we could do these as a roll call vote. Okay. So if we would go through each district, each individual.
All right, Mr. Bergman?
Well, for each, I'm sorry, each commissioner.
Okay.
Do a roll call vote.
Okay.
Nay.
We'll just do Mr. Bergman now. First.
Right,
Okay,
correct.
Mr.
This is for Mr.
Okay.
Bergman.
All right, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Guffey,
Nay.
Mr. Ledwell,
Yes.
Mr. Venable,
Yes.
Okay. 3 votes received, so Mr. Bergman will serve on that board. The next individual will be Harold Brookshire. Roll call vote on that.
okay. Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Guffey,
Yes.
Mr. Venable,
No.
and Mr. Ledwell.
Yes.
Okay, so 3 votes there, so Mr. Brookshire will serve on that board. Next appointment will be Mr. Bob Matthews.
All right, Mr. Matthews, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Guffey,
Yes.
Mr. Venable,
Yes.
and Mr. Ledwell.
Yes.
Okay, so again, receiving enough votes to serve, so that will conclude the positions to be filled. We will not continue with other nominees. So congratulations to Mr. James Bergman, Harold Brookshire, and Bob Matthews. They'll serve on that board expiring 2019. Okay. Move on to the next item, motion to appoint member to the vacant seat of the Mountain Lakes Behavioral Health Board. We did have one more position available on this, and that letter is supposed to be in your packets. What was the Oh, it is in your packets, I'm sorry. This is the final, position on that board. We have had somebody request to be put on that, so at this time we'll entertain a motion, since there is only one, applicant, entertain a motion to approve that applicant to the board.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Okay, any discussion on this? And that term will expire in 2017. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. All right, next item, motion.
Mr. Chairman, would you state the name?
Yes, I'm sorry, Melinda Adkins.
Okay.
Okay, next item, motion to award bid for a factory water grant project to Ladd Environmental. This is the project going, I believe, through County Road 33 to the bottom of the line there. This is the Jackson County Water Authority's project, and we'll just need to approve the bids as presented here so that they can move forward with this project. So, any discussion? I think this is the first time it's been brought to us. Any discussion before we proceed?
Where are the bid sheets for this?
This is no financial obligation to the county, right? It's to the water department.
That's correct.
So, that's why we don't have the bid sheet.
Oh, okay.
And this is the engineering part of the process.
It's just a physical aid.
Gotcha.
And they're recommending that Ladd Environmental be the ones to move forward with the project. Any other questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the recommendation from the authority, water authority?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. And next item, motion to award the administrative bid for Fackler Water Grant Project to Morton and Associates. This is to handle all the what's the word I'm looking for? The grant process. They've handled these projects in the past, and again, this is something I'm not sure that they're required to bid the process, but they do recommend that we move forward with Morton and Associates, and it looks like they had no other bidders on this portion of it. And again, they handle the administrative part, which would be the grant portion of this project. So any questions or comments on that? Do we have a motion to approve the recommendation from Morton and Associates?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item, motion to approve and change the policy to state if a laborer was to obtain a CDL license, he would have to move to HMT1 position. You have in your packets, this was brought to your previous work session, where there are 4 labor positions still at Public Works. I think it was recommended that we change those positions to an HMT1 if any of those individuals ever did receive their CDLs, and this would allow them to do more work on the equipment that we need them to do. They're limited in their scope of work because of their labor description as it is now. And then, of course, any future hires would be an HMT1. This does not add any new positions to the pay chart. It just allows for those laborer positions now to move up to an HMT1, and states that we would not be hiring any more labor positions unless we go back and change this organizational chart again. So,
Somebody be hired in the HMT1 without a CDL and have a grace period in time to get the CDL, or they have to have CDL in hand to be hired?
I would assume they'd have to have the CDL in hand now to be hired at HMT1.
that's been the process before, correct? Any other questions or comments? We prepared to move forward with this tonight? We have a motion to move forward or approve this change?
So move.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this item? And again, this does not require those positions to change, but if they do achieve their CDL, then it would move into an HMT1.
It's not work currently, labor's no way at all.
Right.
Gives a lot to do.
The only question that I do have, I think Mr. Venable was alluding to, where will you put if you need temporary flaggers, somebody that doesn't take, certifications, will we still have any type of position in this chart that we can use non-skilled labor?
A temporary position, right now, we don't have openings for any temporary. If we wanted to, we could set up to where we would leave open for a temporary position. But, with this chart, and we've not had any temporary workers, but we could at any time make that decision, but the commission has to make that decision.
I would like to see a period of time, you could acquire your CDLs. I mean, it's like a probation time to acquire CDLs.
I would like to see a probationary period to require it.
We could make that change outside of this policy, but if we were to do that, we would need to put that in the job description.
If I may, I think the current policy is, they've got, when they move in that, right now, if they move to HMT1 from a labor without any of this going on, then they do have 6 months to obtain their CDL. As far as, just immediately hiring someone as, in as a CDL, there's really nothing that's really described, there that we usually just require CDL if they're gonna be HMT1. So,
That's again where we'd have to spell it out, would be in the policy and the job description.
That's correct.
As an
Policy, that would be-
We could just add it to it, I mean, hire them with the intent, 6 months, if they don't obtain it, then they lose employment.
You two gentlemen on that committee, right?
Yes.
So, we'll take a look at the job description or the policy, if we want to do that, in a separate motion in the next meeting, once we've confirmed how we want to do that. Would that work, Mr. Bowman? Okay. Just remind us, and after you get that together, decide how that needs to be done, we can present that at the work session and go from there. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second for this change to occur, and we'll look at the additional change in policy for the HMT1 requirement for CDL license. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Reports, Mr. Manning?
Nothing.
Mr. Widener?
Have a couple of things. We've been, Charlie and I, talking about the recycle program, and I seen looking at doing a trial thing, and we currently have our what we call our recycle trailers. We have one at Stevenson and one at Woodville. Those are going very well, and we have been discussing with Town of Dutton about putting one there, and their council approved that last week. Our intent is to put the recycle bins in a fenced-in area for the cardboard stuff at Dutton. They originally wanted the fire department, I believe, but they now wanted the library, so it's going to be in that area at the library. So we're going to be putting that out there Friday. That'll be our free, just a little bit, but update everybody on our ongoing Estill Fort project that we're doing through Fish and Wildlife. We took delivery of the first part of our bridge from Ohio, U.S. bridge today. It's anticipated the remaining parts of the bridge will be in tomorrow. They're having to go through all the permit stations and everything and get all that taken care of. So it'll be here tomorrow. We'll start bolting the sections together. Hopefully, if the weather and everything goes right, and like I said, this is our first truss bridge to bolt together, so it's going to be a learning curve for us also. We're intending on next Tuesday, a week from today, having the crane on site to start placing the members of the bridge on the abutments that we already have built. So we do have the old pipes and all dig out. I think I showed the commissioner some pictures. Water's flowing through there. U.S. Fish and Wildlife are happy. They're tickled to death. It's their stream critters can swim up stream now, so they're doing good with that. And, y'all know we was working on a December 31st deadline. I'll bring that up. I was going to bring that to get at least their portion of the money done. We accomplished that. We've already sent in, which will be all of their funds, so that's already been taken care of. We're probably going to run over a little bit on time to go get the road and everything ready, but we have met their deadline for what the parts they're going to pay for. So that's been taken care of. So we'll have to be doing extensions or anything.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Porter? Mr. Miller?
No, sir.
Mr. Guthrie?
No, sir.
Mr. Bidley?
No, sir.
Mr. Ledley?
No, sir.
That concludes this evening's meeting. We will see you all next week, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.